Beauties. I'm Leah, and today we're talking about our top 10 tips for developing your plot.
Number one, an outline. This is probably the best thing you could do if to develop your plot. You just jot down the scenes that you know of so far and flesh them out. You can see where there are holes and where you could work on pacing, but to help develop a plot, you definitely want to outline.
Number two, super simple way to do this is to learn the 3-act structure. I will find a link and paste it down below to better explain it because I could spend this entire video trying to explain it to you. But basically, you split your plot into 3 parts, and part 1 is going to turn your character's world upside down. Act 2 has to have the rising action. Your character is continually going to be trying to solve their conflict. Act 3 has to have the climax. When we think your character can't possibly achieve his or her goal, everything is stacked against them. The world is going to hell in a handbasket. And of course, finally, the resolution of the story.
Number three, what does the character have at stake? What's their driving force that keeps them moving forward? Without this, then they have no point of being on that journey. So be sure that you know this before you sit down to develop your plot, because this is a huge part of the reason your character is your main character and why there's a story in the first place.
Number 4, clearly define your goals for your character and what is going to stand in the way of your character achieving those goals. Super important, obviously, for a story, but even more important for you as a writer, because without having this outlined first before you begin writing, your story could just go wayward, and it's so much easier to have things thought out and planned out because you know the end game, you know what's going to happen.
What's great about using a scene tracker in plotting is that you're able to see where your pacing is off or where you have holes in your story. So as you're developing your plot, you can make sure to attack those points.
Number 6, obviously your story is going to have one massive conflict. Like the basis of the story, but you need to pepper conflicts throughout the story to keep it interesting. If your character just putzes along with one goal in mind and that's all that happens to them throughout the course of the story, it's going to be a pretty boring read, and those won't get you very far. Conflict equals interesting. No conflict equals a snooze fest. So try to avoid that.
Number 7, add subplots. This helps make for a well-rounded novel. You have your main plot going on, but what other little things are going on at the same time that add to that main plot?
Number 8, giving your characters a backstory. We talked about this a little bit in the last video, but adding a backstory is a great way to learn why things are happening and why your character is in the position that he or she is in. It's super important, obviously, for the plot to know these things. So definitely, I highly recommend developing as much backstory as you can for each of your main characters, even maybe some secondary ones too. Each little detail of backstory is like a brick for your plot, and every one you add builds a great foundation. And who doesn't want that?
Number 9, when you're developing your plot, one thing that you definitely want to keep in mind is what your character stands to lose if they don't achieve their goal at the end, the stakes. And this will help you shape your plot in a way that you need to make it difficult for them to reach that goal.
Number 10, and I feel like I should get this written on a t-shirt because I feel like I say it so much, but everything has to happen for a reason. If it doesn't move the plot forward or develop the character, it doesn't need to be there. So rather than write it, realize that it doesn't do either of those things and have to delete it. So much easier to be cognizant of it when you're plotting and make sure everything that you plot happens for a reason.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to join us every Monday and Friday when we post a new video, and you can share, subscribe. All the buttons are down there. Thanks. Bye.